Good morning, everyone. It's been a while since we've come out in the barnyard. Anyway, we've been really busy. Not doing a whole lot. Kind of doing some small things around here. Mikey started public school this year. He wanted to give it a try instead of being homeschooled. I was okay with that because he's to the age where he wasn't trying very hard in his homeschool, and he flat told me, well, I'll do better if I go to public school. So we put him in public school. We now feel that that may have been a mistake. He came home sick almost a week ago. He's been sick the entire time. He had a fever, runny nose, cough, really bad cough. It almost sounds like a pneumonia cough, but I think it's getting a little bit better. Anyways, we did not have him tested, so we don't know if it was just a cold or if it was COVID. With that, now speaking of sickness, we have Matilda here. She is a very expensive turkey. We spent $200 on this girl, taking her to the vet. Hello, Matilda. And this was a very expensive lesson that we learned. You got some food in there still? She has, well, let's see if we can see. The vet, come on girl, turn around. The vet had to pull all her tail feathers out. I don't know if you can see that. She's not going to stand still. But what happened was all of the turkeys decided to go out in the woods around here and lay a nest and then set on those eggs. Well, I don't know if it was from the fire ants. The vet didn't know, but Ladybug, our white turkey, she came back and she was covered with maggots. She just had them under her wings and on her tail, and we tried to save her, and we tried washing and picking off the maggots, but she died. As soon as we got her cleaned up, she died. And so then Matilda came walking up. She had been on her nest all day, and she came up to eat and drink for the day, and I thought to myself, I better check her. And so I got a hold of her, and the first thing that happened when I got a hold of her, all the fire ants, or a bunch of fire ants, just came pouring off of her. And right then I knew something was going to be wrong. I looked down by her tail, and she also was covered with maggots. So the vet and I believe that the ants would get on, or got on her, and bit her and stung her and made her raw enough that the flies then came in, and because she wasn't moving, because she was setting her nest, the flies were able to land on her and lay their eggs. So Matilda spent a week at the vet with them removing the maggots and putting this spray on her. I bought some of it. It's called Alu spray. And it has some silver in it, so it's antimicrobial. And we were told to put that on her daily and until she heals. Excuse me, Matilda girl. So I don't know if you can see, because she wants to get out. Hey girl. But her whole back end is covered in the alu spray. They did pull out and cut off some of her feathers in the back there. And right now, there you can see the spray on her back end. But right now, it's very important that we keep her away from the toms because she has a lot of scabbing on her back end. So that's why she's in that little tiny cage right now, is to keep her away from the toms and just keep her safe right now while she heals. Good morning, girls. How are we this morning? You guys are so pretty. These silver laces. They've got to be one of my favorites. They're so pretty. So that's all the sickness that's been around here. And we did get a couple of projects done. We finally put the peacocks, or peafowl, outside. They are now 4 months old, so they're allowed to be on the ground. So here they are. How are you this morning, Mr. Peabody? Now this is the one that used to strut all the time, so I'm pretty sure it's a male. And he likes to bite my finger. And I have a feeling the other one is a male also, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a couple of years when they grow a tail. So, as I said, they're 4 months old now. They're doing great. I love them. Mr. Peabody, the white one, he is considered a red buff, or I think the other name for him is a Spalding. I don't know. He's a red buff anyway. That one's a black shoulder. So I think that one's actually called a Spalding black shoulder. I don't know. But the red buff, he's my favorite. The other one is just scared of me all the time, won't come near me. So what we did here, we're in this pen that was originally the turkey pen, and it was down the other end of the yard. We brought it down here to the other end of the yard where we have not had any birds on the ground out here. And we put the peafowl in here, and then we came back and we built this little structure over the top. Excuse me. So we've got plastic roofing all the way around here, and then we've got just wooden siding on the back. Those some offcuts from our milling. This is like, oh, I don't know, probably 10 feet tall. We put a roost bar right here for them, and so far they can't jump up there from the ground, so we have this little shelter here, so they will jump up onto that shelter and then up onto the roost until they are big enough and confident enough to just fly up to the roost right there. So we worked on that for a couple of days, got that all done. So now they can get out of the rain. Look at you, Mr. Peabody. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to check their feed. I was too busy watching them. Mr. Peabody, how are you? Yeah, they got plenty of feed. They don't eat much. If you want an animal that doesn't eat much, at least right now, it's definitely peafowl. Such a pretty bird. Okay, moving on. If you guys remember from, I don't know if it was last video or what, we had started on the quail house, and we had a couple of pieces of siding up and we had plastic up. Well, we got all the siding on. It's not completely done yet. I'm working on a window. It's going to be a shutter here. I'm gluing some boards together, and I think I want to make it so that the shutter opens upward like this, so that, you know, the rain will hit it and run off. But I want to be able to close it up in the wintertime if it's cold or whatever. So I'm working on that. We also need to put on some battens, I think, only because I don't need it airtight in there, but I do want to keep flies out. The flies are so horrible. And I was going to put another window over here, but I'm still questioning whether or not I want to do that. I wanted to put one on this side because there's one on the other side, and I wanted the airflow to go through. But I'm just questioning it right now if I want to wait until springtime when it gets hot again, just because it's going to start cooling off here. So I don't know. And then I want to put a piece of trim up here, and I need to order a barn door kit. I'm going to put a sliding barn door here, so I need the kit, the hardware kit, because this is a 42-inch opening, and our local box stores only sell barn door kits for 36-inch openings. And these guys are very noisy and very out of water. They're always out of water. Okay. They drink a lot through the night. I'll have to fill their water twice in the morning. I'll fill it now, and then they'll drink it all, and then I'll come back and fill it again. Of course, if I took the rocks out, it would hold more water, but I put the rocks in there for when they were smaller. Sorry guys, didn't mean to splash you. I didn't want them to climb in there and drown or anything when they were smaller, so that's why the rocks are in there. And one of these days, I'm going to set this brooder up with an automatic watering system with those red water cups. Right now, if I remember correctly, we have 23 here, 21 there, and 21 there. And we're just waiting for them to be of the right size to, we're going to go through them and weigh them, and we're going to keep the heaviest ones for breeding, and then the rest will go in our freezer. So, I put these extra brooder trays in the front. Here, let me set this camera back here so you guys can actually see it. It's so hard to work while you're carrying a camera around. So we put these, I put these extra brooder trays in the egg rollout tray at night because we had one snake that came up in here and went in through the egg rollout. I know a lot of you commented when I had asked about what to do about snakes. A lot of you had commented about wire, putting hardware cloth. Well, this cage is hardware cloth all the way around. The only opening is here in the egg rollout tray. So right here, this is the only opening, is the egg rollout tray. And so the day that we found the snake in here, the snake had gone in through the egg rollout tray. So I have to get in there. I need some feed. Sorry, you'll have to move over. Thank you. Some more feed. So I come out every night about 11 o'clock and I check and make sure there's no more snakes in here. What I did find was I found a powder called, here, I have it right here. My neighbor told me about this. It's called Snake Away, and it stinks really bad. And he said it works really well, so I bought some. And then I spoke to another neighbor, and he said that he uses it every single month. He puts it down every month, whether he wants to or not, and he hasn't seen any snakes. So we also have, I was telling you the numbers in the brooder here, we also have 15 young quail in this last pen here. We had 17, but the snake killed 2 of them. And right here below you, we have 5 in this box. This was the first box that the snake had gotten into. This is hardware cloth on top, and I didn't have these nailing strips around the outside edge, and the snake got up here onto the wire, and I guess its weight had pulled some staples out, and it was able to squeeze down through between the wire and the board there. So the first one had got in here and ate a ton of quail. And I just have the 5 in here now because these were runts. They definitely will not be kept for breeding. They took forever to feather out. They took forever to get any weight to them at all. Oh, you guys are out of water too. So they won't be kept for breeding. But originally I put them in here just because they were so much smaller than the other ones that, whoa, I didn't want them to get trampled or beat on because they were tiny. And so they went in here, but now I'm just gonna keep them in here until butcher day so that I don't accidentally keep one of them. So this box also has a lock on it. We put a little carabiner clip in the hasp so that a snake wouldn't be able to lift up the lid and get in. Okay, now I know you guys are so loud. These guys all need food. We're just about out of food. I'm going to have to go buy some food sometime today. Okay. I'm here with your food. They were taking dust baths in their feed, so I just closed down these, I don't know what you call it, this panel. I closed it down a little bit so they could just fit their heads in there now, and they can't get in there and throw all the feed out. And it works much better. I'm not finding a bunch of feed in their trays. Okay. I haven't found any eggs in any of the brooder levels yet. These guys over here are laying. They're starting to lay. I got 4 eggs from them yesterday. So they are, I think they're 5.5 weeks old. And then all of these guys, if not either most or all of the ones in the brooder, are a week behind. So they're probably about 4.5 weeks old. So another couple of days to a week and they're all going to start laying, all except for the roosters, which I seem to have a lot of. Can't see in there very well through the bars. Okay, that is all the animals done for the morning.